Brought to you by WikiVidi.com. Jesse James. Jesse Woodson James was an American outlaw, bank and train robber, guerrilla gang leader, and murderer, hailing from the Little Dixie area of western Missouri. James was the most famous member of the James Younger Gang. He and his brother Frank James were Confederate guerrillas or bushwhackers during the Civil War. They were accused of participating in atrocities committed against Union soldiers, including the Centralia Massacre. After the war, as members of various gangs of outlaws, they robbed banks, stagecoaches, and trains. The James brothers were most active as members of their own gang from about 1866 until 1876, when, as a result of their attempted robbery of a bank in Northfield, Minnesota, several members of the gang were captured or killed. They continued in crime for several years, recruiting new members, but were under increasing pressure from law enforcement. On April 3, 1882, James was killed by Robert Ford, a young member of his gang who hoped to collect a reward on James' head. Already a celebrity in life, James became a legendary figure of the Wild West after his death. Despite popular portrayals of James as an embodiment of Robin Hood, robbing from the rich and giving to the poor, there is no evidence that he and his gang shared any loot from their robberies. Scholars have characterized James as belonging to the regional insurgencies of ex-Confederates following the Civil War, rather than as a manifestation of alleged economic justice or of frontier lawlessness. Early life. Jesse Woodson James was born on September 5, 1847 in Clay County, Missouri, near the site of present-day Kearney. This area of Missouri was settled by many people from the Upper South, especially Kentucky and Tennessee. It became known as Little Dixie. For this reason, James had two full siblings, his elder brother, Alexander Franklin Frank James, and a younger sister, Susan Lavinia James. His father, Robert S. James, farmed commercial hemp in Kentucky and was a Baptist minister before coming to Missouri. After he married, he migrated to Bradford, Missouri, and helped found William Jewell College in Liberty, Missouri. He held 6 slaves and more than of the farmland. Robert traveled to California during the gold rush to minister to those searching for gold. He died there when James was 3 years old. After Robert's death, his widow Zerelda remarried twice, first to Benjamin Sims in 1852 and then in 1855 to Dr. Reuben Samuel, who moved into the James home. Jess's mother and Samuel had 4 children together: Sarah Louisa, John Thomas, Fanny Quantrill, and Archie Peyton Samuel. Zerelda and Samuel acquired a total of 7 slaves, who served mainly as farmhands in tobacco cultivation. Historical context. The approach of the American Civil War loomed large in the James Samuel household. Missouri was a border state, sharing characteristics of both North and South. But 75% of the population was from the South or other border states. Clay County was in a region of Missouri later dubbed Little Dixie, as it was a center of migration from the Upper South. Farmers raised the same crops and livestock as in the areas they migrated from. They brought slaves with them and purchased more according to their needs. The county counted more slaveholders, who held more slaves, than other regions of the state. Aside from slavery, the culture of Little Dixie was Southern in other ways as well. This influenced how the population acted during and for a period of time after the American Civil War. In Missouri as a whole, slaves accounted for only 10% of the population, but in Clay County they constituted 25%. After the passage of the Kansas-Nebraska Act in 1854, Clay County became the scene of great turmoil, as the question of whether slavery would be expanded into the neighboring Kansas Territory came to dominate public life. Numerous people from Missouri migrated to Kansas to try to influence its future. Much of the tension that led up to the Civil War centered on the violence that erupted in Kansas between pro and anti-slavery militias. American Civil War. After a series of campaigns and battles between conventional armies in 1861, guerrilla warfare gripped Missouri, waged between secessionist, bushwhackers, and Union forces, which largely consisted of local militia organizations, known as Jayhawkers. A bitter conflict ensued, resulting in an escalating cycle of atrocities committed by both sides. Confederate guerrillas murdered civilian Unionists, executed prisoners, and scalped the dead. Union forces enforced martial law with raids on homes, arrests of civilians, summary executions, and banishment of Confederate sympathizers from the state. The James Samuel family sided with the Confederates at the outbreak of war. Frank James joined a local company recruited for the secessionist Drew Lobb's army, and fought at the Battle of Wilson's Creek. He fell ill and returned home soon afterward. In 1863, he was identified as a member of a guerrilla squad that operated in Clay County. In May of that year, a Union militia company raided the James Samuel farm, looking for Frank's group. They tortured Reuben Samuel by briefly hanging him from a tree. According to legend, they lashed young Jesse. Quantrill's raided. Frank eluded capture and was believed to have joined the guerrilla organization led by William C. Quantrill. It is thought that he took part in the notorious massacre of some 200 men and boys in Lawrence, Kansas, a center of abolitionists. Frank James followed Quantrill to Texas over the winter of 1863-1864. In the spring he returned in a squad commanded by Fletch Taylor. After they arrived in Clay County, 16-year-old Jesse James joined his brother in Taylor's group. Taylor was severely wounded in the summer of 1864, losing his right arm to a shotgun blast. The James brothers joined the Bushwhacker group led by Bloody Bill Anderson. Jesse suffered a serious wound to the chest that summer. The Clay County Provost Marshal reported that both Frank and Jesse James took part in the Centralia Massacre in September, in which guerrillas killed or wounded some 22 unarmed Union troops. The guerrillas scalped and dismembered some of the dead. The guerrillas ambushed and defeated a pursuing regiment of Major A.V. Johnson's Union troops, killing all who tried to surrender, who numbered more than 100. Frank later identified Jesse as a member of the band who had fatally shot Major Johnson. As a result of the James brothers' activities, the Union military authorities forced their family leave Clay County. Though ordered to move south beyond Union lines, they moved north across the nearby state border into Nebraska. After Bill Anderson was killed in an ambush in October, the James brothers separated. Frank followed Quantrill into Kentucky. Jesse went to Texas under the command of Archie Clement, one of Anderson's lieutenants. He is known to have returned to Missouri in the spring. Jesse was shot while trying to surrender after they ran into a Union cavalry patrol near Lexington, Missouri. Jesse James suffered the second of two life-threatening chest wounds. Thank you for watching. Brought to you by WikiVidi.com. Please like and subscribe below. Please like and subscribe below.